Gowel Road leading them in. They're off. For the Grade 2 Dornan Engineering Relkeel Hurdle, over 2.5 miles. Gowel Road leads the real whacker, Jingko Blue, over the first of 9 flights. Kabral Du Mathan through on the inside. Last year's winner, Lucky Place, settles 1 from last. Camsinas 2 or 3 lengths off the back of them as they work their way towards the first left-handed turn. So Gowel Road will lead them down the hill. Couple of lengths in front of Jingko Blue, the real whacker on his quarters. Then a break of 2 lengths to Kabral Du Mathan, racing on the inside of Lucky Place. And a break of 2.5 lengths finds Camsinas last of the half dozen. At the foot of the hill, it's Gowel Road and Sam Twiston-Davies looking for a big race double, who leads them up the straight on their way to flight number 2. Gowel Road jumped it safely, couple clear. The real whacker, Jingko Blue, out wide. Jingko Blue regaining second. Kabral Du Mathan is right on the inside, and then Lucky Place, and 3 or 4 lengths adrift of them is Camsinas as they work their way steadily up the home straight. Behind Gowel Road, who leads the real whacker and Jingko Blue, alternating in second and third by a length. Kabral Du Mathan is in the leader's slipstream, racing in a share of 4th place with Lucky Place. Camsinas remains in rear. At the third, Gowel Road and the real whacker upsides with Jingko Blue a close third. Kabral Du Mathan right up the inside, and then Lucky Place less than 3 lengths behind Gowel Road with a circuit ahead of them. Camsinas is last, but has closed right up on the leading group. So heading towards the top of the bank, it's Gowel Road who will lead them into the next left-hander. The real whacker less than a length down in second. Kabral Du Mathan's on terms with Jingko Blue. Between them and just behind is Lucky Place. Camsinas remains the back marker, racing in touch. First of 3 hurdles on the side was their 4th. Gowel Road led the real whacker narrowly, with Kabral Du Mathan on the inside of Jingko Blue. Lucky Place between runners, and a break of about 2.5 lengths to Camsinas as they approach flight number 5. Gowel Road leads into it, long at that flight. Kabral Du Mathan made a mistake. Might have been put off by the leader. Jingko Blue has emerged upsides Gowel Road as they come over the 6th. Jingko Blue that time rather fluffed his lines, but it didn't stop him taking up the running. Off Gowel Road, the real whacker, Kabral Du Mathan back on an even keel. Lucky Place upsides him. They've yet to see off Camsinas, who's still just about in touch as they head to the flight of hurdles going up the hill. This is 3 from home. Gowel Road and Jingko Blue will leave the ground simultaneously, neither especially fluent. The real whacker a length away, with Kabral Du Mathan on the inside of Lucky Place as they run to the top of the hill. Camsinas is still only a couple of lengths adrift of them as they turn on the gallop towards 2 from home. It's Gowel Road and Jingko Blue matching strides as they begin to make their descents. Harry Skelton taking a pull on Kabral Du Mathan, who's upsides the real whacker with Lucky Place on their outer, and Camsinas remains the back marker, still in touch as they race down towards the penultimate flight of hurdles. Jingko Blue in the diamonds on the outside of Gowel Road, with the real whacker Kabral Du Mathan on the inside within a length of the front pair. Lucky Place holds every chance. Camsinas is still at the rear of the field. They're on the approach to the home straight. Gowel Road and Jingko Blue are tracked by Kabral Du Mathan and Lucky Place. Camsinas has made a place. The real whacker is the first to back out of it. Bottom of the hill, with 2.5 furlongs to gallop and 1 flight of hurdles to cross. It's Jingko Blue who's taken up the running. Kabral Du Mathan and Lucky Place have gone second and third. Last year's runner-up Gowel Road outpaced as Skelton switches Kabral Du Mathan to challenge at the final flight, jumps into the lead, out-jumped Jingko Blue, and Kabral Du Mathan is accelerating clear of his field as they race into the final 100 yards. Kabral Du Mathan sealed this in a matter of strides. The Relkeel Hurdle goes to Kabral Du Mathan for the Skeltons, an easy winner from Jingko Blue. Last year's winner, Lucky Place, plugged on to be third, with Gowel Road right behind him, then Cancinus, and finally the Real Whacker.
Well, this race has produced some brilliant winners in the past, some romantic winners in the past, and every now and again you get a live young one who can look to dominate a division over this distance, perhaps over further. Don't know what they'll do distance-wise with Kabral Du Mathan, but this is a live one, this is a smart one, and that was hugely impressive. I felt Harry Skelton rode him with the most amount of confidence he possibly could. He held on to him for as long as he could. He asked him for a long one at the last, he got it, and he bolted it.
Yeah, he absolutely bolted him. That was hugely expressed, and that's miles best form that he's ever shown. But I just love Harry's body language the whole way. Even when he missed one down the back straight, he sort of left his hind legs through it. Harry Skelton just sat up on him. He never panicked on him the whole way. Went the shortest way around it.
And he got a really
big jump at the last.
Off the back of that error, he made sure he got a real sort of confidence boosting leap into him at the next, and he was foot perfect at it and gained a couple of lengths on the field.
Yeah, he's a very, very quick. We said beforehand when we were walking around the paddock, he just looked going around the parade. He just looked different gravy to the rest of the horses going around there, and so approved there. Look at that for a big jump over the last. And James Bowen on the other side of him tried to go for that same jump, and he didn't get it, and that just goes to show the scope that this horse has. And I'm sure they're really, really looking forward to the Stayers Hurdle. That was the jump into open company, his first into open company in graded level, and he's justified that and justified market confidence, and he's hugely exciting horse, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's got to go up a little for that. If you look at how the weights are, how easily he's won. God, yeah. He was a good thing off 140, wasn't he?
So right. You can see where the money came from.
Jesus.
Off 140, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he bolted up there, but then he's bolted up in grade 2 company. What sort of horse does he strike you as distance-wise, Daryl?
Well, to be honest with you, the way he travelled around there, Tom, he could quite easily, on the softer ground, he could quite easily come back to 2 miles. Yeah, I do, because he's not short on pace at all, but when you're riding horses, the key thing is, when you're riding horses and you feel like as if you're comfortable over 2.5, but you feel like as if you can come back and trip as well, because there you're always the horse is always underneath you. You can go left, you can go right, you can go wherever you want, you can place him wherever you want. But also the way he stayed on up that hill, he could quite easily go up into proper staying divisions. I think he would need to settle a little bit more if he's going up into the 3 mile territory. But look, at the Skeltons will know, they know exactly, they've got a good horse, and they've known that for a very, very long time.
Very smart from Kabral Du Mathan, who takes out the grade 2 Dornan Engineering Relkeel Hurdle in style. Dan Skelton alongside, just won a 100-gram race with Listen to Your Heart at Windsor, and of course she won the Relkeel with Kabral Du Mathan, which was a pretty much foot perfect bar, I think the 5th, but no great concern there.
No, I think he anticipated the one in front of him, just landing a bit slowly, but he travelled very well through the race, jumped lovely, picked up at the end, which you'd hoped he would. We do have to face reality in that he didn't have a penalty today. He went off a short price, and it's never it's not a very nice thing to use if it's not used for your own horses, but it was kind of his race to lose, and I just thought if we were going to step up the ladder, he had to go and win today, and he has, and he's done it very, very nicely as well. So we're delighted to have him, and like I said before, I've inherited a few of these horses, and I'm lucky to have been the recipient of those, and I know what work went on beforehand. So sometimes you get fortunate in this game, and we have a very good horse on our hands.
Yeah, and he's obviously got so much potential. How good do you think he is, and how do you given that he's just turned 6, unlock that potential?
Well, I think that's the trick, isn't it? You've got to remember how young he is and how much he's got to come, and picking the right route. And it's never the wrong thing to take the patient approach. And I think we're going to have a bit of debate about what we really do. But
it is relating to whether you go 3 miles for a stayers hurdle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. In my heart, I think I trust him to relax enough to get it. But at the same time, it will be a bit of trust, and it will be, can he really stay 3 miles hard as a 6-year-old when you've got those battle-hardened horses that have been doing it for 6, 7, 8, 10 runs in 3 years of their career. So, it's a totally different game, that, and I've respect for them. So that's why it's not an easy call.
And I asked Harry, would he come back in trip? He seemed to say no, he's 2.5 for now.
He is, yeah, and I think if you come back in trip, you make two bad decisions. One is the short term, he's not really a 2-miler, and then the long term is when you go to 3 miles, you've been teaching him to race like a 2-miler. So I definitely wouldn't be doing that.
But he's worth a go in a Grade 1 at some point in the spring, isn't he?
It'll be Cheltenham or Aintree, yeah, and I hope we can go for one of the Grade 1s at them.
Okay, good luck, cheers.
All right, cheers.
Thanks, Dan. Harry Skelton, can I walk back with you, Harry? Is that all right? Well done. That was really, really impressive. Take me through it.
Yeah, no, it was great. He travelled around brilliantly. He's made one mistake down the back. I'm not sure what he did. He just left his back end in it or something. But look, it was favourable for him today, wasn't it? Against the others with the weight allowances. But he's won very impressively. Beat a good field. Could get in the weight, but he's done it well.
It was favourable, but he couldn't have been much more impressive, I thought, other than that slight error. I know, but he was very good at the next one. It didn't seem to hit his confidence.
Yeah, that was the only mistake he made. Look, they're out there, they make mistakes. He got away with it, hopefully learned from it. Jumped great, winged the last, and away he went. He won well.
What's your gut feeling distance-wise for him?
He's not a slogger. He's not just all about 3 miles. I just said to the guys, he's only just turned 6 years old. We just be mindful of that. Those 3 milers, they need to just really race behind the bridle, and he's got a bit of enthusiasm about himself. He's still a young horse, and he's got options. Is he going to get 3 miles? Yes, he is. Is it all about stayers this year? Who knows?
Could he come back in trip?
No, I think 2.5's good for him. I think 2.5's good for him. You've got Aintree, Grade 1s, 2.5 and 3 miles at Aintree might suit. So we'll see. We'll let Dan and Neil and Alfie have a good chat and try and do the right thing. But he's only 6, and I don't know if it's all about the stayers. I don't know. We'll see.
Well done.
Yeah, thanks.
Cheers.
Watch live racing now on racingtv.com.